Talk Book, where we discuss ancient books and compare them to modern-day masterpieces of art. I'm your host, One.
And I'm host 2. This week we are discussing the 2016 hit by Meghan Trainor, No, and we are going to compare it to the novel published in 1963, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, specifically, though, the character Esther.
I know what you are all thinking. Meghan Trainor wasn't even born when this book was published. How could they have a connection?
Well, the character wants to be like Meghan Trainor.
I know some of you are also thinking, that doesn't make any sense. Esther wants to be like her? They don't even know each other.
But what we mean is that they're similar in what they want. And how, you ask? Well, that's what we're here to discuss.
So, to start this little discussion,
we found some quotes and portions of the lyrics to compare.
So we'll read the quote and the portion of the song we compare, and voila!
Exactly! But first, we are going to discuss a little bit about Meghan Trainor and Sylvia Plath and how they feel about feminism.
After doing some research, we found that Sylvia Plath's past encounters with men led many to believe she would be headed down the feminist path. One writer from vsramblings.wordpress.com said, "The absence of her father, who died when she was 8, casted a huge shadow over her work and life. Famous is her poem Daddy, where in an intricate way ends up doubling up the figure of her father with her husband's. It's almost as if her life was completely dominated by patriarchy, and everyone knows what feminists think about that." So we've come to the conclusion that Sylvia Plath was definitely a feminist because in a time when women were supposed to do housework and take care of the kids, she sat in front of the typewriter and developed her art. She couldn't care less about society and worked hard. She refused to follow the male literary tradition and kept doing her thing, writing. She believed in herself and knew her fame would be harder to achieve for her than the other male authors because she knew she would be judged from different standards.
Now to talk about Meghan Trainor. In the past, there had been much controversy over her music. Some of her songs have some contradictory moments that lead us to question if she's a feminist or not. Like in the song Dear Future Husband. She says, "You got that 9 to 5, but baby so do I, so don't be thinking I'll be home and baking apple pies. I never learned to cook." This shows that the role of a woman is to be cooking and cleaning, but she goes against that role because she never learned to cook. But then, later she says, "After every fight, just apologize, and maybe then I'll let you try and rock my body right. Even if I was wrong, you know I'm never wrong. Why disagree? Why disagree?" As many know, there's a common saying that men are always wrong and women are always right. This is false, and not what a feminist would believe. However, with her new hit single, No, there are no problems, and it is clear that there's a feminist vibe. One of the writers from www.fuse.tv said, "I went into No expecting to find something wrong right away. I blame the way outrage culture has shaped my brain, and Meghan's past, of course. I didn't hate the lyrics, so I set aside a deeper listen for the weekend. But in that moment, I was relieved. There'd be no Meghan Trainor backlash that day. We can all go into the weekend feeling unburdened by something unsavory seeping subliminally into our culture. Phew."
Now after all of that info, let's break down some of the lyrics and match them to the book. Lyric 1. "I think it's so cute and I think it's so sweet how you let your friends encourage you to try and talk to me. But let me stop you there, oh, before you speak." In the book, it says, "That's a diamond," somebody said, and a lot of people burst out laughing. My nail tapped a glassy facet. Her first diamond. Give it to her, Marco.
This scum of a man here tries to impress Esther using fancy jewelry. This situation is much like the one described by Meghan Trainor, where a man is trying to impress her.
In lyric 2, it says, "Na to the ah to the no, no, no. My name is no, my sign is no, my number is no. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. Need to let it go. Na to the ah to the no, no, no." The book says, "Marco reached for my hand, but I hung on to my 4th daiquiri and stayed put. I never had a daiquiri before. The reason I had a daiquiri was because Marco ordered it for me, and I felt so grateful he hadn't asked what sort of drink I wanted that I didn't say a word. I just drank one daiquiri after another. Marco looked at me. 'No,' I said. 'What do you mean, no? I can't dance to that kind of music. Don't be stupid. I want to sit here and finish my drink.'"
Both Esther and Meghan in these situations show that they are in support of no means no. Here, Esther is trying to be defiant and take a feminist stand. She does not want to dance just because that is what the man wants to do. She doesn't have to follow that. She is allowed to do and be her own person. Much like Meghan Trainor, as she refuses to give the man any information on herself, she does not have the want to continue an interaction with him. She is there to party hardcore with her girly friends.
In lyric 3, it says, "First you gonna say you ain't running game, thinking I'm believing every word. Call me beautiful, so original, telling me I'm not like other girls." In the book, it says, "What did I tell you?" Marco's breath scorched my ear. "You're a perfectly respectable dancer."
Here, Marco says this to Esther, and she has no belief in his words. She is not falling for his compliments because she knows they're empty. Meghan Trainor feels the same way about this man that tries to compliment her. She believes actions speak louder than words.
In lyric 4, it says, "I was in my zone before you came along. Now I'm thinking maybe you should go. Blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, nah to the ah to the no, no, no." In the book, it says, "I shut my eyes and the music broke over me like a rainstorm. Marco's legs slid forward against mine and my legs slid back and I seemed to be riveted to him, limb for limb, moving as he moved, without any will or knowledge of my own. And after a while I thought, it doesn't take two to dance, it only takes one."
So, in the beginning of this quote, Esther is feeling the music and in her zone, just like Meghan Trainor, and Marcos is dancing with her, and as she's dancing with him, she realizes that it doesn't take two people to dance, and that she doesn't really need Marcos to dance with her, just like how Meghan Trainor feels about dancing by herself.
Lyric 5 says, "I don't need your hands all over me." In the book, it says, "Then I fisted my fingers together and smashed them at his nose. It was like hitting the steel plate of a battleship." Marco sat up.
Here, after Marco tried to make his move forcefully, Esther tries to show him that she does not play that way. If she wants a man, she'll make the effort to look for one, and she will do it her way.
In lyric 6, "If I want a man, then I'ma get a man, but it's never my priority." In the book, it says, "That's one of the reasons I never wanted to get married. The last thing I wanted was infinite security and to be the place an arrow shoots off from. I wanted change and excitement and to shoot off in all directions myself, like the colored arrows from a 4th of July rocket."
Here, Esther talks about how it's never been her priority to get a man. She has never really wanted to be married because she wants to be an independent person and have her own adventures. This view on relationships is comparable to Meghan Trainor and how it's never been her priority to dance with a man or even to be with one. And if she did, it would have happened just like how Esther could have worked harder to stay with Buddy, but she chose not to.
In lyric 7, it says, "All my ladies, listen up. If that boy ain't giving up, lick your lips and swing your hips. Girl, all you gotta say is." In the book, it says, "I gouged at his leg with the sharp heel of my shoe. He turned, fumbling for the hurt."
So as Marco begins his move forcefully, Esther fights back and hits him with her shoe. It is very similar to the way that Meghan Trainor tells women to respond to men when they don't want to continue talking to them. Except Esther's is a little more violent than swing your hips and lick your lips, but, you know, it's the same message, so.
In lyric 8, it says, "I'm feeling untouchable, untouchable. I'm feeling untouchable, untouchable. I'm feeling untouchable, untouchable. I'm feeling not to the ah to the no, no, no." In the book, it says, "I left Marcos on his hands and knees, scrambling in the darkness for another smaller darkness that had the light of his diamond from his furious eyes."
Here, Esther had just left Marcos looking for his diamond, and although it was his and she had to return it to him, she did it in a clever way that left her more empowered. Much like Meghan Trainor in the way that she's empowered when she says no.
So, to sum it all up, we believe the song is much like Esther's struggles with being in a society where she wants to be like Meghan Trainor. She wants to be independent and enjoy her life. However, due to the time period she lives in, many believe she will never achieve this because it's not normal.
So, we want to ask you, do you believe that in the novel The Bell Jar, the author, Sylvia Plath, exhibits several instances in which Esther has interactions with men that are comparable to singer-songwriter Meghan Trainor's wants in her 2016 hit song No? That's all. That's it.